proud parents, devoted spouses, friends, family, congratulations to you all. But mostly, congratulations to the class of 2016. Congratulations, you did it. Each of us here are so proud of you. Today is a day of thanks. Thanks to all of your parents, your spouses, your friends, and your family who have cheered you on, pushed you forward, and at times told you to lean in. Some of you had significant obstacles to overcome to get to this moment today. Others of you have become the very first member of your family to graduate. That is an extraordinary experience. As you leave JFK today, not only with an education, you join the fortunate with boundless opportunities ahead of you. But now it's time for you to decide, what are you going to do with all the opportunities ahead of you? Sheryl Sandberg, COO of Facebook, released her book, Lean in March 2013. Make no mistake about it, Sheryl leaned in big time writing that book. People criticized her, told her not to do it, and feared that it would ruin her career. Well, I'm happy to tell you that today, over 2.5 million copies of Lean In have sold. It was listed on the New York Times for 77 weeks, and it was listed as #1 on the New York Times for 12 weeks. Now, let me remind you, this is a book on nonfiction feminism. This is not Harry Potter. It's incredible. Sheryl's book reignited the conversation worldwide about gender, both for men and for women. The book is published in 33 languages, and there are 37 unique editions to address the cultural differences across our world. Sheryl and myself, along with 2 other co-founders, also formed at the same time leanin.org. This is a community that has grown to over 800,000 individuals worldwide, and as you have heard from Dean, has over 28,000 Lean In circles worldwide in 141 countries on 6 continents. This is an issue that matters. So why is this so important? Because do you know that women reached equality in graduating college in 1981? That's over 30 years ago. Today, over 57% of college graduates are women. Oh, but wait. Right here in this university, this graduating class, over 77% of the graduates are women. Woo! Very proud of all you. But if we are honest, men still run the world. Women comprise less than 5% of the Fortune 500 CEOs. Women comprise less than 19% of the board seats. Number of VCs is less than 6% women. And in 2015, the Senate was comprised of just 20% women. When the big decisions are made, women's voice are not at the table. Also, when companies, they want to hire the top-notch talent, they need to hire senior women. Within leanin.org, we have over 950 companies working with us directly to bring Lean In initiatives to their organizations so that the women do not only come in at entry level, but they stay through mid-level and they become senior managers and ultimately in the C-suite. So today, we all and I turn to you as the promise and the hope of our future. It did not happen in my generation, but it is going to happen in your generation. And let me be clear, this is not a women's issue. This is an issue for all of us together. If you're a man in this room, you likely have a woman working for you. You may be working for a woman. You likely will have a spouse, a sister, or a daughter. This is about all of us leaning in together. Okay, so what advice can I give you to accomplish your biggest dreams and your biggest ambitions? I'm going to share with you some of my moments of leaning in and leaning back. First, I'd like to tell you, if you can remember something today, sit at the table. What does that mean? Studies show that self-doubt is far more common in women. Women do not apply for jobs unless they believe they are 100% qualified. Men, they apply for jobs when they are just 60% qualified. Let me tell you, that's a study. I'll tell you my personal experience. An executive recruiter called me to run the 5th largest market at Bank of America, retail banking. That included sales. I knew that super well from Pepsi. That included service. I knew that super well from Pepsi and Sara Lee. And it included operations. Okay, operations? I had never worked in a bank. I was never a teller. I was never a bank manager. I knew nothing about operations. And every single one of my banks was going to have to pass an audit every single quarter. I was like, I'm not qualified. I don't know operations. It wasn't until my husband said, Debbie, you're going to have over 1,000 employees. You're going to have a sales team. You're going to have a service team. And you're also going to have an operations team. You are going to only have to learn enough about operations to effectively manage your operations team. You can do that. You should apply for this job. I took the job, and that market was ranked dead last in the nation at Bank of America, and year one, I raised it to the top 10%, earning the highest award Bank of America gives, the Crystal Spirit Award, and I can tell you, I have never been more fulfilled to achieve that accomplishment. So we all need to start shifting our thinking is, I'm not ready to do that I will learn by doing that. Given how fast the world moves today, grabbing opportunities, it's your responsibility. Managers do not have the time to convince people to apply. You have to do that. So sit at the table, ask for the promotion, ask for the next biggest assignment, ask to open that next office. Have confidence in yourself. All right, second, don't leave before you leave. What do I mean by that? Oftentimes, we pull back before we lean in. We forecast all the reasons why, if we took that job, we might not be able to do it. I know if I asked you all to stand up, if that has ever happened to you, I think everybody would be standing up. Here's my story when I leaned back, and I share this in the book, and I share it with you because I don't ever want you to do this. Back in 1997, I worked at PepsiCo. I loved the company, I loved the brand, and I was fortunate enough to work for the first female CEO, President of North America, Brenda Barnes. I wanted her job. I absolutely believed that I would get that job one day. And oh, by the way, at Pepsi, back in 1997, only 20% of the workforce was female, including administrative assistants. But for some reason that didn't occur to me. I wanted her job. So I was traveling. You know, you travel, you go to a Marriott hotel, you open the door, what's there? USA Today. Front cover of that USA Today read, Pepsi chief trades work for family. 22-year-old veteran got burnt out. I have that article today at home. I remember sitting on the edge of my bed, bawling, crying. I turned on the TV. There she was on Good Morning America giving an interview. She had 3 kids. At that moment, I leaned back. I'm super proud to say that my daughter Lauren is here in the audience with me. She's a junior in college. But at the time in 1997, she was 2 years old. I knew I wanted more kids. And I thought, if this extraordinary woman cannot accomplish having a career and children, how on earth would I be able to do that? That is the day I leaned back, and I lost my opportunity to become a CEO. You can't lean back for a decade. So remember that job I told you about, Bank of America, 10 years later? Wells Fargo had offered me that exact same job 10 years earlier, and I declined it because I leaned back. I took a strategy job. I had 4 employees instead of 1,000. I got paid a lot less money. I was paying childcare. I was a little bit less fulfilled. So I leaned back, and it took me a decade to realize, no, I can do more. So that brings me to my third piece of advice for you. Guilt management can be just as important as time management for mothers. National Institute of Child Health and Human Development initiated an ambitious, comprehensive study on the relationship between child care and child development, the effect of exclusive maternal care versus child care. 1,000 children were involved in the study over the course of 15 years. They assessed cognitive skills, language abilities, social behaviors, children who were cared for exclusively by their mothers and did not develop differently than those cared for others. There was no gap in a 15-year study. No gap in cognitive skills, no gap in language competence, no gap in social competence, no gap in ability to build and maintain relationships, and no gap in the child-mother bond. So stop feeling guilty. We need to stop torturing ourselves. Believe me, I did it myself as I dropped my kids off at preschool. I had to decide what mattered, and what you will learn as your careers grow and the more senior you get, the actual more flexibility you get. I remember distinctly when I took my job at Bank of America, I had 3 kids at the time, and I said, there's something really important to me. My kids, especially Lauren here in the audience, it's really important I go to back to school night. She wants me to know every single one of her teachers, so when she's not liking math, I know that teacher. So I said, I've got to make back to school night. And I remember there was a big leadership presentation in LA. My boss said, fly after back to school night. You go to back to school night and then come to the conference, but you make sure that happens. You have to tell your employer what you're thinking. They cannot guess. And you will be so satisfied to know that they do not want to lose you. Lastly, I want to talk about success and likability. Research shows that success is positively correlated with men and oftentimes negatively correlated with women. Cheryl writes in her book that she believes this is the single most important bias that is at the core of why women are held back. The more successful a man gets, the better liked he is. The more successful a woman gets, the less liked she is. There's this famous experiment that happened at Harvard Business School. They did a case study. It was about a real-life entrepreneur, a venture capitalist named Heidi Rosen. They split the class in half. Each side of the class got the exact same case study. One single word was changed. Heidi's name was changed to Howard. Half the class got Heidi, half the class got Howard. The class came back together, and when they were polled on their impression of Heidi and Howard, the students rated them equally competent in their skills. While the students respected both Heidi and Howard, Howard was better liked by his peers. Heidi, on the other hand, seemed a bit selfish and not the type of person that you would want to work for. That is incredible. And how we change that is we talk about it. We have a conversation about it. Cheryl gave a speech shortly after she launched her book in March of 2013, and she told that success and likability story. And a very, very senior CEO of a major publicly traded company came up to her afterwards and said, "Cheryl, I have two candidates for a very big job. One is a man, one is a woman. The woman has outstanding results. She's not as well liked by her peers. The man also has very good results, but not as good as the woman's, but his peers really like him. I'm going back to the office, and I'm promoting the woman." So it's important to talk about this. Lastly, I want to say that this doesn't just happen in careers. This happens at a very, very young age. I'm going to tell you a story about my best friend, Lori. Her daughter danced with my two daughters. They got their dance class placements in August. She called me in a panic, and she said, "Debbie, Cammie got placed in all higher classes than all of her friends. I haven't told Cammie that yet. Do you think I should call the director and ask if it's a mistake? The moms are all texting me and blowing up my texts. They are not going to be happy because Cammie hasn't danced as long, and now she's in higher classes. What should I do?" And I said, "So Lori, your son Kai's starting freshman year of high school next year, and he's going out for the football team. What if Kai, as a freshman, makes the varsity football team? Are you going to not tell Kai that he made the varsity team? Are you going to call the coach and see if it was a mistake because his friends might not like it? No. You are going to celebrate broadly that your son is a stud and made the varsity football team as a freshman." Why do we treat women differently? We should celebrate their success and their ambition. Playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking just so others around you will not be intimidated. You actually will inspire them to aim higher. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously gift to others the permission to do the same. When we are liberated from our own fear, our own presence automatically liberates others. You are not alone. You can go to leanin.org and find inspirational stories on every single topic. You can find modules from phenomenal professors on how to negotiate your first salary. And you can learn how to have your own lean-in circle of peers of 8 to 12 individuals where you can come together and support each other. And when fear comes over you, you can cheer each other on to lean in. All of these tools are available to all people worldwide for free. All right, so all of you, go out tonight, party, celebrate, pray for the warriors. And I'm going to ask you to celebrate safely, please. You deserve it. But then when you've recovered from your night of partying and you're cheering on the warriors' victory, I want you to pause on Monday morning and ask yourself, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? And then I want you to lean in and go do it. Congratulations, class of 2016.